Okay, everyone. We're working out a couple technical things, so this is perfect. I want to welcome everyone. And I'm going to take a minute. I'm a little early, so let me check because I'm getting might change to Wi-Fi. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get a better signal. I've got Valerie helping me. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully, Val, is that good out there? I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it, so it works. Perfect. I want to welcome everyone. We've got a couple minutes. Get yourself something to drink if you'd like. And we'll get going in a couple of minutes. It's a beautiful day on the Mayan calendar and in general. It's Friday the 13th, January 13th, and 13th is Tz'ikin on the Mayan calendar. So it's a beautiful day. And my mom is not going to be joining us. My name's Heather. I'm grandmother Flordemayo's daughter. She's actually doing some stuff with my dad. Last year, my dad had a couple heart surgeries, so she takes really good care of him. But she had asked me to get on and talk about the number 13 and what it represents on the Mayan calendar. So I'm so excited to do this Facebook Live with you guys. And I might have actually a dear friend, Niki, joining us. And in the background, we've got, I like to call, she's basically my daughter from another mother. My little Valerie and her daughter Isabella are helping me. And she's actually going to feed the comments on Mom's page with any different links that you want. Or if you have any questions, put them in the comment section and she'll send them to me and I'll do my best to answer those. I am recording this and I will upload it to Mom's YouTube channel as well. So that'll be kind of sweet. But let's get started. It actually, if you pay attention to military time, I was in the military, it's 1300, Friday, January 13th, 13th Tz'ikin on the Mayan calendar. It's a beautiful day for so many things. A lot of times, if you are new to learning about the Mayan calendar, it's a group of 260 days. There's 20 day lords, and they're so sweet. They're little glyphs, and they represent both a direction or orientation. They usually have a nawal, a power animal, or a totem associated with that. So it's kind of sweet. A lot of times with Tz'ikin, you will see reference to the quetzal, the condor, the eagle, and birds like that. So it's a beautiful day if you're going to do ceremony to give gratitude to the messengers that we receive. I know my mom, when I was talking to her today, was telling me that she had a hawk visitor, and that was kind of sweet. A lot of times, the elders or my mom will say, well, she was growing up, that they would talk about that the birds would actually help bring your dreams and visions to Creator to help them come true. So it's kind of a sweet day. If you're going to do any cleansing or clearing, to use a feather to do that. It's a good day to, oh, and my friend Niki is here joining us. So I want to welcome Niki. Hi, Niki.
I'm on mute. Hi.
So Niki is going to come along with us on this journey. I was just talking about the number 13. So we're so excited that you're here.
I'm excited to be here. Excited that I have power.
So let's see if we can do the double spotlight for both of us. There we go. Perfect. And we're in the world of Facebook. So jump in if you have, I was just talking about what day it is on the Mayan calendar. And if you have anything to add to the number 13 or anything you've experienced, let me know.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So, another thing that they say with the Mayan calendar with the Tz'ikin is that you'll see it represented by those birds. It's a good day for dreaming, visioning. It's also a good day to ask for dreams and visions. And if you think about the bird, they carry those seeds and place them in other places. So, set that intention for your dreams and your visions to come to fruition. So it's a great day for dreaming. My mom believes in a lot in using tools to help bring that to fruition. We have like little dream bags that we use. I don't know. And she'll talk about putting water next to your bed and stuff. And we all have different things to help us dream or empower us to do that. So I think it would be a beautiful day to do that. It's also a beautiful day for cleansing and clearing and just setting that intention with new dreams and visions. So if you're kind of feeling stuck, great day to do that, spiritual bathing, anything like that. I love the number 13. What do you think, Nikki? Do you have any, I know it has a bad connotation, Friday the 13th, but I love the number.
I love it. Yeah. I don't actually, I'm not an expert in the history of it, but I remember reading recently just about like why it became sort of demonized and how it's so related to the divine feminine, too, right. And how powerful it is. And so it is interesting how it's kind of become this like, taboo, scary number, scary day, which is so not what it's about,
I know. Yeah, I think it got, and if we think about it, even the 13 lunar cycles, I was reading about the fact, a few different things, that when we look at the word Trecena that you'll see in the Mayan calendar, it's that group of 13 days. It's kind of similar to Western astrology's moon sign. So that's kind of a neat thing is as you go deeper into learning more about Mayan cosmology, if you're interested, it's sweet. It talks about how the sun travels in 13 days. The moon also travels 13 degrees in the zodiac every day. So it's got these beautiful connotations. According to the Maya, there's 13 heavens in the Mayan otherworld. My mom, you'll often hear her talk about those 13 human joints that we have and, really recognizing that. So I think it has come somehow we have, like you said, Nikki, we've kind of demonized it. The other thing I think of that one of my mom's friends, I think it was Grandma Moitu, she always refers to where we are as Turtle Island. And the turtles, if you look on them, the rectangles on the back of a turtle, there's 13 of them. And you'll see these pretty pictures of Turtle Island. And other people might have any other information on the number 13. My father told me that there was 13 rattles on a rattlesnake's tail. I'm not going to find that out, but I'm going to take them for what that's at. So I don't like snakes at all.
You're like,
so I'm going to take my dad at the fact that there's 13 rattles on the rattlesnake's tail.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that either. I feel like I have to look that up now. I'll look it up for us.
Yeah, we'll have to look at some other, I know that the 4 seasons each have 13 weeks. Mm-hmm. There's 13 cycles of the moon each year. As you said, Nikki, the number 13 is a feminine number. And usually having to do, if you think about those moon cycles, the 13 cycles of the moon, women typically have 13 menstrual cycles in a year or two. So I think that's where that word moon cycle literally comes from. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but
I'm not either. And, I know I've read something too, and I was actually just trying to find it. But there's something to do with like I don't know if you've read this about abracadabra and like just the magic behind the number 13 and it being associated with the word abracadabra and how it like, it's just all this idea, I think, of the feminine power of this
right.
magical power, this connection to the earth, the cycles of nature, the cycles with the cosmos, all of this stuff. It's so powerful. So it's such an interesting reframe from, you know, this like, ooh, Friday the 13th, like it's so unlucky. It's actually incredibly powerful.
I think so. I think we have to change the narrative, but I think that happens a lot of times. When we don't know, we just make it into something that it is.
Yeah. We fear, you know, I think we even fear the power that we hold too. So I feel like that is such an interesting thing to consider when you think about the things that we are afraid of. And they are, you know, these powerful things, the unknown can be really scary. And this is like, this day is actually holds a lot of power, like you were saying. So
yeah, I'm sure like any other time, you know, there was bad things that happened and stuff like that, but we're going to talk about the positive stuff. Yes. I think that's also where we get the feminine qualities to the number 13. My mother loves the number 13. Every 13 days, she is like, oh, it's number 13 on the Mayan calendar. And, you know, it's really embracing that energy of that day, Lord, and that number 13.
Yeah.
You know, and then we get to begin again according to the Mayan calendar. So tomorrow we'll go to number 1. So it's kind of sweet. And I envision, like my mom says, us walking up the pyramid. We get to number 7 at the top and we're coming back down and we're going to go walk up another pyramid.
Oh, I love
starting
that.
Tomorrow. So it's kind
of how do you, Heather, with the, because I know, you know, when we follow the cycle of the moon, you know, with the new moon setting intentions and with the full moon sort of releasing whatever we want to release within that cycle, how would you say with the cycle of the Mayan calendar versus the moon, like the differences in like the ritual or the similarities, I guess?
Well, I kind of feel like it's about transformation and ending that energy of that Trisena. So we are in the Trisena of, you know, Akabal. So tomorrow, let me check what we're going to be on the Mayan calendar, and that's going to begin the new Trisena. For the next 13 days, we're going to be in the energy of Akmak, and I'll make sure to include it on there. So for that whole next 13, you know, days, we're going to have that beautiful energy. And, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about embracing those different qualities of the different day. And really, you know, I think it was yesterday when we were talking to one of my moms for, yesterday we did that little bonus section, and Susan, Everyday Medicine Woman, was talking about how if we pay attention to when we align with the moon, maybe paying attention to the days on the Mayan calendar or the energy of that day, what we resonate with, you know, and I think just becoming a little more in tune with it. I'm hoping here soon that we'll have the energy of the day available, you know, online, so people can kind of just check it out every day. Yeah. You know, like yesterday was 12-ish. It was the power of the feminine and the jaguar. So we can kind of let everyone know and maybe do your own journaling and just see what resonates with you.
Yeah.
You know, well, you guys have been over there, you know, in California too. I think it's also paying attention to Mother Nature, like what's going on in the seasons and how you're able to get through it. You know, so I think
I think that I love the idea of the journaling and like looking at the energy of the day. And I talk about this a lot with my dream work too, just like when we are setting intentions for our dreams, like kind of asking for a dream in your journal, you know, before you go to bed, like kind of noting what's happening in nature that day, noting what you did that day and paying attention to the energy of the Mayan calendar seems like a totally interesting way to incorporate all of that into, you know, hey, can I have a dream tonight? Please, Dreamworker, show me a dream tonight that's going to tell me a little bit about like how I'm relating to this or what I should do about this or whatever. And then looking at the dream the next day and garnering that wisdom, you know.
I think so too. And I also think that one thing I began, we're actually on a 13-week course, Niki's along with us too, with Mom with the Shift Network, is that I'm beginning each day setting like with positive affirmations and setting that intention, opposed to, I think I got in the bad habit last year of kind of just getting on Facebook or reading emails. So I've stopped and I'm like, okay, I got to change how I wake up in the morning and set that intention.
Yeah.
You know, and I put a good boundary of really watching the news just a little bit, just to get what's going on.
Yeah.
I think I had mentioned to you, I slept through when the volcano erupted and there was earthquakes on the island here because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So I think it made me more aware. I got to pay a little bit of attention what's going on in the world. So
the dream journaling first thing, I feel like, I mean, we all have our different ways of, doing our self-care, doing our reflective work. And I know for me, mornings have always been really challenging. I was definitely like someone who used to just get on their phone right away or jump straight into work or whatever. And the dream journaling has really helped me create a habit that, I do it right before bed. And then right when I wake up, I'm writing down the dream. And then typically I'll just take a couple moments to reflect on like how my body feels, like how my emotions feel. Even I don't need to know what the dream meant, but if I have any inclination of anything, I'll just write all that down. And then sometimes that'll lead to a little more journaling, but even just doing that, like, is honoring the dream that showed up last night. And it is giving us a little bit of time to like kind of ease into the day and be able to kind of have that soul connection first thing in the morning,
almost like a sacred pause, like you're taking a pause in the moment.
Yeah, for sure. It's really made a big difference for me. And so, I don't do it every day. It's, some days it's not a perfect process, but it definitely has gotten much better. But yeah, it depends on the dream too. I always tell people too, just write what you remember. Even if you just remember one thing, that's something that you can reflect on the rest of the day. So it's such an interesting time with this day in particular. I feel like seeing what comes up at any major, minor, whatever, crossroads or threshold, right? Like these different things on the full moon or on the solstice or on Friday the 13th, like, kind of checking in, setting that intention for the dream time, and then reflecting on that the next day is such an amazing ritual.
And I think the other thing that, if you're just starting the dream journaling, like Niki mentioned, it's a slow progress. I think moving forward and getting in the rhythm, like anything else, setting a new habit, be patient with yourself. But I do think that's one thing my mom has always said too. She was always journaling it. She's piles and piles of books of dreams or visions and, just writing them down to remember them and then go back and read them and see what what the message is. Because, I think we all have that wisdom and that, that spiritual wisdom within us, and just kind of tapping into it and giving yourself time to kind of understand it,
Yeah. So you're creating like a sacred awareness process, I think, by doing the journaling. And even if it's just like little check-ins or anything, but putting it down is creating that awareness, which is creating connection to that part of yourself, so the dream journals, I'm the same way. I mean, I literally at this point, I was like, I don't know what to do with all these. Like I use these big books for my dream journals and they're heavy and I have so many now, but it's really cool to go back and to reflect. You're like, wait, I had a dream about this years ago, and you'll go find it and you can start to map, regression and like map different like connections and revisit old dreams, and even just drawing the dream, or drawing. Yeah. You don't have to be an amazing artist. It doesn't matter, just drawing anything that comes to mind. It's such a cool process.
Yeah. And I think my mom had told me she started writing down, so she would have her dreams kind of on a daily basis. And near the back of the book, she kind of just loosely alphabetized if it was about, a vehicle or a bird and what that meant to her. Maybe during that period of time that she was doing that dream journaling, which can change as we change and grow. But it was kind of like her own dream dictionary at the back.
Yeah, the dictionaries are so cool. I created one for a while too, and it is always changing because we're always changing, like you said. Yeah. But creating the dictionary and another cool thing always giving your dreams a title and writing the date. And then, that actually is going to tell you so much about the meaning of the dream as well, because it's like whatever first just comes to mind. And something I'll do is at these different thresholds, I tend to do it like at the end of every month, writing down all the titles, like, and the dates and kind of the theme of each dream. And then you get this like really cool captured picture of what your dream life is showing you, so that you can take action in your waking life to make change in your life. It's really powerful.
I mean, I love it. And I love dreaming, and, not every dream is a pleasant dream. I think we definitely have some dreams, and it could come from whatever, stress, not feeling good, but I love being able to dream and work through those. So, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think around, especially the day, when I was just speaking to Mom before we came on, she said, it's just a beautiful day to dream today. And when you go to bed, envision, whether it's the Quetzal, the Condor, the Eagle, taking your dreams and sending them out to the world to manifest and, nurture that seed so it can grow. So
I love
that would be really sweet. If nothing else, when everyone, maybe tonight, just set that intention, and, and I think start, maybe enjoying the day of Friday the 13th. And, I think it's a beautiful day. I know, even I was talking to my brother, he does a lot with tarot, and he was saying that the 13th card is actually death, but it doesn't symbolize death. It's actually those new beginnings again. So rebirth. And, so I think it's, Mom would say it's pretty auspicious how we're talking about dreaming, and it's the number 13, and it's Friday the 13th.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I think it's important to remember, I mean, when you think about dreaming as a continuum of consciousness, right? Like we're still us when we're dreaming. We're still the same, we're just not embodied necessarily in our body, but we're still the same soul having this experience. And every dream has a gift. Like, so whether it's an indifferent dream, as your mom would say, or a, mundane dream, or if it's a profound dream, it doesn't matter. Every dream is equally as beautiful, and there's a gift hidden in everything. So I think when we can take that, when we work with our dreams and we realize that, and we start to see that, it really changes how we view our life, our waking life, because we start to see these seemingly, indifferent, nightmarish experiences in our life, but there's always a gift hidden in that, right? And we kind of like take that mindset into the whole thing. You think about a day like Friday the 13th, and even if it does feel like, you have that sort of indifferent feeling towards it, what is the gift in that? Or how can you start to shift that, right? Because you can shift your dreams just like you can shift your life. So it gets really magical in that way.
Well, and I think it does. It also ties into, setting that intention, those good intentions every day, that you get up and practicing something good. And, I know that it's been a hard few years. Last year was I couldn't wait for 2022 to end, and 2023 to begin. But, I do believe that setting those intentions, going to bed thinking that you're going to have a positive experience, is really important. And, I think the journaling, the dream journaling is so important. And it's something easy that you could do. I mean, I have like really fancy journals, but I got to tell you, the one I use, the 99-cent notebooks that I get at Office Depot.
Yeah.
So
great.
just
whatever.
Those are my favorite.
You gotta find, it's a big deal to find the journal that works for you. I feel like I tried a lot of different ones before I landed, and I feel like I'm still always switching. Like I'm actually starting to combine my dream journaling with my regular journaling. I never used to. I always kept two separate ones, but I kind of like having it all in one place now. And then you can reference things, and it's like a little life workbook at that point.
It is. And just make it fun. And that would be the other thing that Mom would always say, is make it fun, enjoy yourself, in doing this. And I think as we go, we're talking about 2023, and what it holds for you. What are you hoping for, Niki, in 2023 as we move along this journey?
A little less rain in California right now. No, but I think in 2023 for me, I'm really looking for a lot more trust in myself, in the process, in everything that I'm doing. And I really want to invite more joy in. So like your mom would say, just making things fun, not making everything such a big deal, just sort of allowing joy to come in, feels really important to me this year.
Yeah, I think that, and I'm trying to get better at, for myself, managing my time and kind of getting a little bit more on a schedule, even though that didn't work yesterday when I reached out to you and said, it's 13 on the Mayan calendar, we should get on. And my mom was actually the one, she's like, oh, you should get on Facebook Live. And I said, are you going to come? And she's like, I can't. And she's like, you should. I said, well, I'm going to reach out to Niki to come talk about the number 13 and share some wisdom. So it all worked out. So with that being said, I do hope to get a little more structured and scheduled. And with that being said, I know that myself and the team that are helping my mom, and you're going to help us a little bit as well, moving into 2023, we hope to be a little bit better about, sharing what other webinars or offerings we're doing I love the Facebook Live. I'm sure there's an easier way than I do it through Zoom, but that's okay. It works right now. But we hope to be sharing a little bit more wisdom with everyone. I think I'm looking forward to some in-person events at the Path. It's been years since we've done that. Doing a little bit more about the seeds. We're going to do some seed socials with our seed keepers. So I'm looking forward to that. And I just love being a grandma. So that's my biggest thing right now. My distraction is my new grandson.
It's not a distraction. That's a joy. See?
It's a super big joy, but I can't do anything else. So
balance, just balance.
So if you guys email me and I don't get back to you, it's because I'm in full joy mode with my grandson.
He's your grandson.
Right now. So, and it was funny because the other thing I was reading about number 13 was about the blue moon, and my daughter Bryn, and not many people know this. So she was born on a blue moon, which they only happen every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's actually, they're considered the 13th moon that happens every 2.5 years. You'll have a blue moon.
Wow.
So that's why they always say once in a blue moon, because it's a super rare event. So I thought that was kind of sweet because her nickname is Azul for blue in Spanish.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I had no idea the meaning of that. It was, my mother would call her Azul. And I had to look, and she's like, oh, she was born on a blue moon. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. And it wasn't until I was researching the number 13 yesterday, I was like, oh, that's even sweeter. That's,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, oh, I love that.
That's really cool. See, it's another reframing of the beauty of the number 13.
Yeah, it really is. And, I think that hopefully everyone, out there, we're moving into a beautiful weekend. It's my husband's birthday, tomorrow. And just be gentle with yourself and have some fun, and I think that's the message for today. Look, maybe you guys have some interesting information about the number 13. You can share it on the chat or dream journaling. And we'll make sure you have Niki's information as well on the chat, so that if you need to get a hold of her or want some wisdom about dream journaling and what you're up to, that would be really sweet. But we hope to do a few more of these. As we come to kind of an end, Niki, what do you have, any words of wisdom, or what are you looking forward to this weekend besides the weather changing in California?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to a little bit of a reprieve. But I think I would say, I think taking this day, it'd be really interesting as just another journal prompt, and maybe this is in your dream journal, just to take the idea and really check in and say, like, what is my relationship to Friday the 13th, and reflect on kind of your beliefs around it. What do you feel in your body? How do you notice it? What do you what comes up? And then think about the reframe, like what has shifted since listening to some of this, or just what you've maybe learned on your own over the last however many years. And it could be an interesting journal prompt to just consider, like, where else in your life do you kind of have this maybe negative association with something, to just revisit it, and to just be curious, right? Like, I love that quote, be curious, not judgmental. Like, how can we just be more curious about these things?
Well, and I think it's also like, sometimes I go through periods and I always see those angel numbers, they call them, like it'll be like, 11:11, or I'll wake up, it's 3:33 in the morning. I did that for a long period of time, is paying attention to where you see the number 13.
Yeah.
And, sometimes we look past the mundane, but we're seeing these different symbols. I believe life is a series of symbols and understanding stuff. So maybe paying attention to those little things that we see, outside that might be mundane.
And all of those are all ways that you're basically doing dream work when you're doing that too, because dreams are all symbol and metaphor and all of this stuff. So when you're paying attention, like you're saying, and noticing these things, you're practicing getting to learn the language, kind of, I believe, of your soul, which is kind of showing up in your dreams. So it's a different way of living in a more aware, kind of conscious, magical way,
Well, and I know in my journaling too, I've taken it up a notch this year, is trying to be attentive to what is happening with the moon, where we're at, how I feel physically, if I wake up, what the weather is doing around me, and just emotionally how I feel too, and see how that all plays. And then I usually write a quote or a poem to set that intention. So those are little things. I don't know that it would work for somebody else, but it works for me. So I've
absolutely journaled. That's how I journal too. I actually created like a little rating system. So I have like different, like, how do I feel physically, emotionally, like, how did I eat today? Like, did I move my body? Like, what's the weather like? I think all that stuff is it's so incredible of being able to track, and like it trains you to be able to sort of just track and become a little more embodied over time.
Yeah, I know around Christmas, I was making homemade cookie dough, and I found myself going into like a sugar overload because I was eating, and I couldn't figure what was off. And I was like, oh yeah, too much cookie dough.
I did that too. Yeah. I could feel like
paying attention to what we put into our body.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. But I think that the beautiful day for dreaming. It's a great day for cleansing and clearing. Hopefully, if you don't have a dream journal, maybe you're inspired to start a dream journal. If you are feeling stuck, you can do that sacred bathing, smudging anytime, cleaning your space. And I know that Valerie will put we have little blogs. They're just free little things that we talk about. So, take a look. Take a look at what we're doing for the path, what we're doing with Mom for Grandmother Flordemayo. We'll make sure, Niki, that you've got your information on there so people can take a look if they have questions about the dream journaling and everything like that. And we're hoping to bring to fruition something magical as well. So, stay tuned and have a beautiful Friday the 13th, 13 Tz'ikin on the Mayan calendar. And just a beautiful day to take those seeds and plant them to grow. And Niki, I want to thank you for coming on. We love you. Niki actually was at She's been hanging out with us for a while now, virtually. And then you got to go with Mom and a couple other of Mom's friends and meet her in California over at Pierzia's event. So that was really special.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm very grateful to be here.
So we love everyone and have a beautiful day, and much love and light to everyone, and may California dry out and get some sunshine.
Yes. Mwah.
Okay. Love to you.
Love.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.